Hey there, internet friends. Trevor Starkey here with another episode of Trevor Trove Gaming. What I've been playing in the last week, and since I spent a good chunk of last week at PAX, most of what I'm going to be talking about are the games I played at PAX. I haven't really sat down and played much of anything since getting back, kind of in a lull, essentially, between now and God of War coming out the end of next week. But I did play a few games at PAX, not too much, and some of these I've played in the past already, so in those instances I might include links to kind of previous write-ups in the description below. But here are the 5 games I played at PAX East. Up first, a game called Graveyard Keeper from Tiny Build. I played this game. I remember this game getting announced maybe a year or so ago or something like that, and thinking, oh, that's a cool little quirky idea. It's basically a sim game where you are trying to run a graveyard, and so kind of like Stardew Valley, but darker and more morose, I guess. The demo I played basically kicks off with you wake up and you don't know why you're there. You just kind of get told that you are to be the keeper of this graveyard. You kind of dig up a skull, which kind of bounces around and talks to you. You pick up a body off of a cart, and then you take it into the morgue, and you can autopsy it and pick some flesh off of it, and then you basically take it up and dump it in the ground, build a plot to dump it in, and then plop it in the ground, and boom, you've got a grave, and you get a burial certificate from that, which you can use to kind of sell and get money. In the little kind of bit I played, your objective seems to be kind of prettying up your graveyard to a certain level. You can do that by repairing, broken tombstones, cleaning things up, adding little accoutrements to the graves, and you can get all that stuff by chopping down trees or cutting down bushes and stuff like that. And so you're basically collecting resources and using your own energy and to do all of that. So played a little bit of it. I don't know if just the demo was a little, because I reached a point where the demo wasn't really telling me what I needed to do anymore, so I didn't really have the patience to spend a whole day in the game playing. I wouldn't play a day of Stardew Valley or something like that on a show floor or something. So, but it was interesting enough. Maybe I'll continue to keep an eye on it in future shows. I don't know if it's out or not already. It might be in early access. I don't quite know the status of the game. It was PC. I imagine that's probably where it will stay for the time being, but it might eventually come to consoles. Who knows? But I played it on a little laptop PC there at PAX East. So that was Graveyard Keeper. Up next is Semblance, which is a game I played at PAX East last year, and have a write-up that I'll, again, link in the description below. This is a cute little platformer where the kind of hook of the game is that you can kind of deform the platforms and the world around you in order to solve the puzzles. You might have kind of objectives that you can't reach, but then you can bump up into the platform and kind of turn the platform from a flat surface into a hill, and then you can kind of climb the top of that hill and jump up to the thing that you need to get. Or you might have kind of lasers that are, blocking your path that you can bump up and kind of shoot into each other, again, kind of opening up a pathway for you. So really interesting kind of mechanics and stuff like that. I got to see a little bit more of it. The bits I played at PAX, certainly more challenging than kind of the first pass I had made last year. So I look forward to kind of seeing where they continue to go with building those challenges. So that is Semblance, coming to PC and Switch, I believe, eventually. Played Guacamelee 2 again. It was the same demo I played at PSX. I don't remember if I did a write-up on that or if I just kind of talked about it in a video. But Guacamelee 2, same style and humor of the original Guacamelee. The demos that they've kind of been showcasing in order to, I think, get more people experiencing the game all use the 4-player co-op version of the game. which becomes very chaotic and very frenetic, and multiple times in these demos I have gotten lost and had to figure out and kind of focus on where my character was versus what I thought was my character. This demo in particular started out, it was just me and one other guy, so we got through a few screens, everything was pretty calm and cool and collected, and then a couple more people joined us, and the hell and chaos reigned. It's fun though. It's they kind of are leaning into, you can do more as the chicken this time around. In the first game, you can kind of turn into a chicken to get into like small cramped spaces and then kind of turn back into your luchador. Here you have like chicken attacks, and the chicken can have special moves and stuff like that. I'm most curious, and I keep forgetting to ask them about this, but one of the main mechanics of the first game was the ability to switch between like the land of the living and the land of the dead, and I'm curious how that will work in a co-op setting with 4-player co-op, because I can't imagine all 4 of you would be able to click between the land of the living and land of the dead. I think it was like an R1 button prompt previously, so I can't imagine it'll be as simple as that, because it would just be even more chaotic, and yeah, I don't know if that'd make for a great time, but still fun. I look forward to seeing what they do with it, even if I will only ever really be playing it in the single player mode, I imagine. Up next, I finally got to play The Messenger. It was the only game I had made an appointment to go see while I was out there, and the day of my appointment, the line to get into PAX just through the doors was way longer than I was anticipating, so I ended up missing that appointment as a result, and that sucked, and I felt bad. So I went back the next day and waited in line to play the game. Got to play the game. The game, if you aren't familiar, very Ninja Gaiden-esque. It's very much kind of, a lot of people are comparing it to Shovel Knight in that it is very much an old school kind of 8-bit, 16-bit era ninja game. Again, Ninja Gaiden. The kind of core mechanics that they show off in the demo were you've got your double jump, and it's not a double jump just outright, but once you hit something, you basically get the ability to jump a second time. So if you hit like a lantern or something, boom, there's your double jump. Or an enemy in midair, you can boom double jump off of them after that. And you could string together, like you can jump from lantern to lantern to lantern, as long as you're hitting them along the way, kind of thing. You get this little cloud underneath you that is an indication that, oh, you've got another jump you can use. They gave you kind of, early on they give you in the demo kind of claws, so you can kind of climb up walls. I imagine that'll be a later game kind of thing to be handed off to you. You also get a rope dart, which they jokingly say most people will probably just end up calling a grapple hook, as well as a wingsuit. So lots of kind of fun little tools at your disposal. And then you, in this demo, you start bouncing between 8-bit and 16-bit designs. You kind of go through these little like wormhole portal things, and you and the game around you go from an 8-bit design that it starts out as to a 16-bit design, and then you kind of pass back and forth through those wormholes to kind of change the design of the world, and in some it leads to puzzle solving, because in some areas you might not be able to pass if you're in the 8-bit world, but if you go into the 16-bit world, suddenly there's a path opening that you can get through and stuff like that. Lots of fun. The music changes, the art style changes. I really had a good time with this demo, and I look forward to seeing where this goes. One of my favorite things was the humor that's kind of thrown in here. A lot of this was kind of flavor text for a PAX demo, or I think they use the same demo at GDC, so it's very kind of like tongue-in-cheek, like, hey, we're throwing a lot of stuff at you very abruptly that you certainly haven't had time to master. That will be more spread out when you actually play the game. They kind of had some fun with that. So really worth keeping an eye on. I had a great time with it. I'm curious to see kind of how they continue to market and show off this game, because there are definitely some kind of twists and turns in there that are exciting. And I like how the game kind of very much opens up at certain points. So that's The Messenger. Lastly, I played Rick and Morty VR, Virtual Reality, on PlayStation VR. This is a game I first played at PAX West, not last year, but 2 years ago, I guess, back when it was like a Vive demo. It's still that same game, pretty much. For whatever reason, it was an abbreviated demo compared to the one I played previously. Maybe that was because the one I played previously was a press demo. I don't know. But this, it's very much Rick and Morty, if you're familiar with the show. It is that humor. Justin Roiland had a big hand in kind of making this game, so he's voicing, all of his normal characters. He did a little bit of the writing on the game, and it's a mix of that and the Alchemy Labs team. So the people who did Job Simulator. So it's kind of a perfect mashup of those two things. This is another one I've got to write up on Trevor Trove from a year and a half ago that I will link in the description below. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. I expected the demo to be longer, so if I had known it was going to be shorter, I wouldn't have burned through it as quickly as I did, because the PSVR guy was like, "Oh, you've reached this. We can only show you up to this point, so I've got to take the headset off you." And I was like, "Okay then, cool." So that's what I played at PAX East. Again, not too much. I spent much more time hanging out with friends or going to panels and stuff. Games was not my focus, not my priority, but that's what I've been playing this week. And those are my PAX East impressions. Let me know what you've been up to in the comments below. As always, I've been your host, Trevor Starkey from TrevorTrove.com. You can follow me at SnarkyStarkey on Twitter. And until next time, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends.